The great, silent ships of the Galactic Council hung in the dark like watching gods. For thousands of years, they had enforced one simple, terrifying rule. No one goes to the X787 system. It was a place everyone knew about and everyone feared. It was a monster that ate minds. Probes sent there went quiet. They never came back. Brave explorers from ancient species had gone too close. Their ships were found floating, perfect and whole. But the crews inside were broken. Their minds were gone. They would whisper about a silent song that only they could hear, a sound that stole their sanity. To the Council, X787 was not just a place. It was a warning. It was the one thing in the universe that all species, no matter how different, agreed was pure evil. They called it the Quiet Planet. Far from this place of fear, a human ship was working. The ship was called the Odyssey. It was not a warship. It was a ship of discovery, looking for new stars and new worlds. The captain was a man named Jin. He was calm and focused. His navigator, a young woman named Seminit, was one of the best. She was plotting a course around a beautiful, swirling nebula. The crew was relaxed. Space was big, and they were explorers. But space is also tricky. A tiny error in a calculation, a number typed wrong, can change everything. Seminit's finger slipped. She entered a course correction, but it was a bad one. The ship's computer accepted it without question. The Odyssey jumped into warp speed, heading for its new destination. The trip was smooth. The crew went about their jobs. Then, the ship dropped out of warp speed with a sudden, shaking jolt. Red lights flashed on the main screen. A loud alarm blared through the ship. "Report," Captain Jin said, his voice steady but firm. Seminit's face was pale. She looked at her screens, her eyes wide with shock. "Captain, the navigation computer, there was an error. A big one." Her voice was a whisper. "We've come out of warp too soon. We're in the X787 system." A cold silence fell on the bridge. Every human knew the stories. The monster. The madness. The silent song. They had broken the galaxy's biggest law by accident. Before anyone could panic, new lights appeared on the screen. 3 large, angry-looking warships dropped out of warp space right behind them. These were the Council's guards, the watchers of the Quiet Planet. Their ships were built for war, covered in weapons. A communication request flashed on the screen. Jin took a deep breath and opened the channel. He expected to see a furious alien commander. Instead, the being on the screen looked surprised. Its large, dark eyes blinked slowly. It looked at its own instruments, then back at the screen showing Jin's calm face. "Human vessel," the alien commander said, its voice a slow, rasping sound. "You have violated absolute quarantine. Your mind should be gone. Are you not hearing the song?" Jin looked confused. He glanced around his bridge. His crew looked worried, but they looked sane. They were scared of getting in trouble, not scared of going mad. "Yeah, our bad," Jin said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Big navigation mistake. Sorry about that. We'll leave right away." He paused, looking at his own science screen. "But, you said something about a song? We're not hearing anything. This place is weird, though. Really weird. We're picking up some kind of powerful energy pattern from the planet below. It's strange. It almost looks organized. Almost like a data stream." On the view screen, the alien commander stared. Its surprise had turned to utter disbelief. This was not possible. The alien commander's message was sent back to the Galactic Council. The news caused a shock. The humans were not mad. They were not whispering or broken. They were just annoyed about their navigation error. The council leaders argued for a long time. Their oldest, wisest members said the humans were a danger. They said the humans might carry the madness like a sickness. They must be isolated. They must be kept away from everyone else. But others were too curious. How was this possible? After so many thousands of years, a species appears that is not hurt by the Quiet Planet? They had to know why. A new order was sent to the warning fleet. The human ship could not leave. Not yet. They were to wait for a special council advisor. On the Odyssey, the crew was nervous. The huge warships were not letting them go. Captain Jin tried to stay calm for his crew. He told them to keep working, to study the planet from where they were. The ship's scientist, a woman named Minute, was fascinated. She looked at the data from the planet. The energy patterns were like nothing she had ever seen. It was complex and beautiful. It did not look like a weapon. It looked like a message. Or a lock waiting for a key. "We have to go down there," she said to Captain Jin. "This is the most important discovery we will ever make. We are not affected. We can finally learn the truth." Jin shook his head. "It is too dangerous. The Council's rules exist for a reason. I will not risk this crew." Finally, the Council's advisor arrived. It was a military commander named Tai. He was from a very old and proud species. His face was stern. He did not look curious. He looked like he was waiting for a disaster. A meeting was held over the video screen. Commander Tai spoke first. "Your species is new. You do not understand the danger. Your presence here is a threat to the entire galaxy. You will leave this system immediately. And you will be quarantined for 100 of your years to be sure you are not infected." Minute could not stay quiet. "With respect, Commander," she said, her voice strong, "your fear is based on what happened to others. But it is not happening to us. We are not affected. Can't you see? This is not a disaster. It is an opportunity. We can go down there. We can learn what this place really is." Commander Tai was silent for a long time. He did not like humans. He thought they were reckless and foolish. But his orders were to find out the truth. The council was divided. He had to make a choice. "A compromise," he said, his voice cold. "A very small compromise. You may send one shuttle. Only 4 of your humans. They may land on the surface. They will have one of your hours. No more." Captain Jin began to protest, but Minute quickly agreed. "Thank you, Commander. We will do it." Tai was not finished. "My ship, the Keeper of Sanity, will watch you. Our weapons will be aimed at your shuttle the entire time. The moment your life signs show any change, any stress, any fear, any madness, we will not hesitate. We will destroy you to protect everyone else. Do you understand?" Minute looked at the serious face on the screen. She understood the risk completely. She nodded. "We understand." The meeting ended. Captain Jin looked at his scientist. "Minute, this is a huge risk." "I know," she said. "But we have to try. This is why we explore, isn't it? To learn the things no one else can." Preparations began. Minute would lead the team. She chose 2 engineers, Jihan and Hannah, and a security officer, Day. They boarded a small shuttle called the Curiosity. On the bridge of the Keeper of Sanity, Commander Tai watched the shuttle leave the human ship. He turned to his weapons officer. "Lock weapons on the shuttle. The moment their heart rates spike, or their brain patterns change, you fire. Do not wait for my order. You fire immediately." The weapons officer nodded. A target lock was placed on the small, brave shuttle flying toward the planet of madness. The shuttle Curiosity flew away from the safety of the Odyssey. Behind them, the massive warship Keeper of Sanity followed, its weapons tracking their every move. Inside the shuttle, the 4 humans were quiet. Minute checked the sensors. Jihan and Hannah monitored the engines. Day, the security officer, watched the video feed, his hand resting near his equipment. They flew down toward the planet. The surface was not rock and dust. It was covered in giant shapes. There were huge towers and arches made of a material that looked like black glass. It was a city, but it was completely silent and dark. No lights. No movement. It was a ghost city. "Find a place to land," Minute said. Hannah found a flat area near the base of the largest structure. It looked like a great black mountain with a wide opening. It was not a cave. The edges were too smooth and perfect. It was a door. The shuttle landed gently. For a moment, no one moved. They just listened. There was no sound from outside. No wind. Nothing. "Life signs are normal," Minute said, looking at her screen. She was also watching the data linked to the Keeper of Sanity. She knew Commander Tai was watching their health, waiting for a reason to fire. "Let's go," she said. They put on their helmets and stepped out of the shuttle. The ground was solid under their feet. The air was still. The silence was the deepest silence they had ever known. It was heavy. They walked toward the giant opening. It was huge, big enough to fit their entire shuttle inside. The inside was dark. Jihan turned on a powerful light. The beam cut through the darkness, lighting up a vast hallway. The walls were smooth and reflected the light. The hallway went deep into the structure. "Readings are very strange," Hannah said, looking at her portable scanner. "The energy is everywhere. It is all around us. It is in the walls. But it is not harmful. It is just power." They walked forward. Their steps made no sound. The further they went, the more the air seemed to hum. It was a low, soft sound you could feel in your bones, not hear with your ears. Do you feel that? Day asked, his voice tense. I feel it, Minute said. But it is not hurting us. It is just energy. They reached a large room. In the center of the room was a tall, crystal pillar. It glowed with a soft, blue light. Patterns of light moved inside it like flowing water. Hannah held up her scanner. The energy is strongest here. But it is not attacking us. It is just existing. Jihan walked around the pillar. He pointed to the walls. Look. These are not just walls. They looked. The walls were covered in symbols and shapes they had never seen before. They were complex and beautiful. It is a language, Minute whispered. This is not a tomb. It is not a weapon. She looked around the huge, silent room. This is a library. The idea was huge. This place that everyone feared was not a monster. It was a place of knowledge. The silent song that broke other species might not have been a weapon. Maybe it was a message. A message that was too strong for them to understand. It overloaded their minds. But for humans, it was different. They did not receive the message in the same way. They were like a lock that did not have the right shape for the key. The key could not turn them. So they were safe. They moved deeper into the building. Every room had more pillars and more walls covered in the strange writing. The place was enormous. It was full of information. On the warship above, Commander Tai watched the data screen. The life signs of the 4 humans were perfectly steady. Their heart rates were normal. Their brain waves were calm. There was no sign of fear or madness. Only curiosity. His weapons officer looked at him. Commander? Their signs are stable. Do we still keep the weapons ready to fire? Tai stared at the screen. He looked at the steady, calm lines that represented human minds in a place that should have destroyed them. For the first time in his long life, he began to doubt the old stories. Keep the weapons locked, he said, but his voice had less certainty. And keep watching. The 4 humans moved deeper into the silent, dark building. Their lights were the only thing breaking the perfect blackness. The hallway sloped downward, leading them further below the surface. The feeling of energy in the air grew stronger. It was like walking through a gentle, invisible river. They came to another archway. This one was different. It was made of a pure, white crystal that glowed with its own soft light. Beyond it, the darkness ended. Hannah held up her scanner. The energy is coming from in there. It's the source. Day shifted nervously. It could be a trap. Minute looked at the beautiful, glowing arch. It did not feel like a trap. It felt like an invitation. We have to see, she said. She took the first step through. The room on the other side was breathtaking. It was vast and circular. The ceiling was so high they could not see it. And in the center of the room was a giant sphere made of swirling light. It floated silently, pulsing slowly like a sleeping heart. The walls were not made of rock or metal. They were massive screens, covered in the same strange symbols they had seen before. But here, the symbols moved and flowed, changing patterns. It's beautiful, Jihan whispered, his voice full of awe. This was the core. This was the heart of the quiet planet. Minute walked slowly toward the sphere of light. She felt no fear. The energy here was intense, but it was not harmful. It was waiting. Hannah was staring at her scanner, her eyes wide. Captain, she said, her voice shaking with excitement. You need to see this. The energy patterns, they are not random. They are information. This whole place, it's not a weapon. It's a storage device. A library. The truth washed over Minute. She looked around the incredible room. She thought of the broken minds of the explorers who had come before. They had heard a silent song. Their brains had been flooded with a signal they could not understand. It was a test, she said, the idea forming as she spoke. The psychic field the Council fears. It was never meant to attack. It was a security system. The others looked at her. Think about it, Minute continued. This knowledge, she waved her hand at the incredible room, it is too much, too powerful. The builders of this place did not want it to fall into the wrong hands. So they created a lock. A test for any species that found it. The lock sends out a powerful psychic signal. If your mind can receive that signal, if you are psychically active, it tries to give you the information. But it is too much. It overloads you. It breaks your mind. She looked at her crew. Their faces were lit by the gentle light of the sphere. But we are different. Humans. We don't have strong psychic abilities. We are quiet in our minds. The signal cannot find us. It cannot give us the information. So it does not hurt us. We are invisible to the lock. The simplicity of it was stunning. They had not passed the test because they were smarter or stronger. They had passed it because they had failed it in a different way. They were the one species the security system could not see. Jihan let out a soft laugh. So we are not heroes. We are just lucky. Minute nodded, a small smile on her face. Yes. We just walked through the final exam because we were deaf to the questions. They stood in silence for a moment, looking at the glowing sphere that held the knowledge of a dead civilization. It was a gift. A gift that had been protected for millions of years, waiting for someone who could simply walk in and receive it. They were not conquerors. They were librarians. And the library was now open. The shuttle Curiosity returned to the Odyssey. The four humans walked back onto their ship. They were quiet. They carried with them a truth that was too big for words. The crew on the bridge looked at them, waiting for news. Captain Jin saw the look on Min's face. It was not fear. It was something else. Something like wonder. On the view screen, the face of Commander Tai appeared. He looked stern, but there was a question in his eyes. He had watched their life signs. He had seen no madness. Only calm exploration. Human vessel, he said. Report. What did you find? Minute stepped forward. She held a data crystal. It contained copies of the symbols and energy readings from the heart of the structure. We found the truth, Minute said. Her voice was clear and strong. She began to explain. She told them about the library. She told them about the sphere of light. She told them about the test. A video call was set up with the whole Galactic Council. Leaders from many species appeared on the screen. They listened as Minute spoke. They saw the data. They saw the images of the beautiful, silent library. At first, there was only silence. The oldest, wisest members of the council were stunned. Their greatest fear, the monster in the dark, was not a monster at all. It was a gift. A gift they could never open. A gift that had broken their best and bravest. Then, the questions began. They were nervous questions. What did this mean? What would the humans do with this power? This knowledge was greater than anything in the galaxy. The humans could become the most powerful species overnight. The balance of power was broken. Captain Jin saw the fear in their eyes. It was a new fear now. Not fear of a place, but fear of a people. He stepped forward to speak. Council members, he said. We understand your worry. But you are thinking about this the wrong way. We did not conquer this place. We did not defeat it. We simply found that we were the right shape for the key. It was an accident. A lucky accident. He looked around at the faces on the screen. This knowledge does not belong to us. It belongs to everyone. It is the legacy of the species that built that library. They meant it for anyone who could receive it. We were just the first ones who could walk in without getting a headache. A small joke. But no one laughed. They were listening too hard. We propose something, Jin said. We will not keep this for ourselves. We will be the guardians. The librarians. We will build a station here. Scientists from every species can come. We will help them. We will work together to understand the knowledge. We will share everything we learn. The council was silent again. This was not what they expected. They expected demands for power. They expected threats. They did not expect an offer to share. Commander Tai was the first to speak. You would do this? You would give this power away? Minute answered. It is not power. It is knowledge. And knowledge grows when you share it. Slowly, the council agreed. The humans had passed a second test. A test of their character. They had found the greatest treasure in the universe and their first thought was to give it away. And so, the humans became the keepers of the quiet planet, which they now called the Nexus. They built a station in orbit. Scientists from across the galaxy came to learn. The humans helped them. They translated the symbols. They explained the energy patterns. The galaxy changed. New technologies were made. New medicines were discovered. New understandings of the universe were found. The humans had walked into the place everyone feared. They had not found a monster. They had found a mirror. And in that mirror, they saw the best parts of themselves. Their curiosity, their hope, and their desire to share their light with others.